Hello. Hi, y'all. Getting a little situated. Hi, YouTube. Hello. This is the second time I'm doing this, and it's a meet me, but it's also me meeting you. So I'm excited to do this. I'm getting more and more comfortable, and these are going to keep evolving as we go. So if you're new to my channel, we're a little bitty channel and we're trying to grow, then you're going to see me evolve. You're going to see me develop. And that's kind of what I'm about. I had a private practice. I've been a therapist for 18 years, and I had a private practice, regular old brick and mortar private practice. And for many years, my clients would end their sessions and they just kind of mentioned to me, you should have a show. You could help so many people. And this is how I've gotten all the way to here. We launched Emotional Badass in 2018. I had no idea. Hello. Hi, Mountain Guido. Hi, Hatchet. Hi. Thank y'all for being here with me and cheering me on. I appreciate the support. The more that things have developed, like we started with audio, and that was a big, giant jump for me because that was a way for me to sort of hide and step into using my voice publicly. I am a super introvert. I can look very extroverted and I can be very warm and outgoing and turn on, but my real true nature is very, very introverted. So it's important to me that I show people the real authentic me, coming from almost 2 decades in mental health. I'm a professional that has been on the other side of the chair as the client to the counselor for so many years. I started going to counseling as a very little girl, and I've had terrible, awful counselors, and I've had some that absolutely changed my life and helped me understand myself and helped me become the person that I wanted to, but my anxieties and my fears in the world scared me about. And the people that have helped me the most in my life are the ones that have gotten very, very real. Hi, Kadama. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm glad you're here too. So I want to be that for other people, to be able to show myself. I think there's so many people online that are either very, very young or new in there helping careers and maybe don't have a lot of life experience or professional experience yet. I think there's a lot of youth online. I don't know that there's a lot of people sharing themselves in a raw way. I see a lot of people that are very, very polished. And for me, in my life journey, I'll be 44 in a couple months. I feel like we see either people in their mess or we see people super duper polished. They have big teams behind them. They've hit a level of success where they can just sort of pay for all the help that they want. And we don't really see a lot of people in that middle ground. In my profession as a counselor, we don't get a lot of encouragement to step outside of the box professionally. It's a lot of rule following. We have a lot of fears, I think, as a community to find our own way of being a healer. And it's taken me almost 20 years to get to a place where I feel confident in my teaching methods, in what I'm sharing, in the importance of, especially for trauma work. I'm a trauma therapist. It's really unnatural and frankly wrong to me that we would ask a trauma survivor who's been betrayed by other human beings to just show up and trust somebody because I went to school and I have letters behind my name. That's not a great reason to trust. And so part of me doing this and sharing myself is to help people understand what they're looking for. And it's more than just head knowledge and degrees and letters behind the name. It's heart. It's moral compass. It's insight level, maturity level. You can feel if somebody is doing the work on themselves or not. I advise people to steer clear of any therapist or any healer or any doctor if you feel a level of arrogance, because that arrogance is something that's between us and other people, and it makes it hard to connect. So I named today's live stream Show and Tell because I wanted to be able to show you a little bit of who I am and get you thinking about how you relate to people in your life, how you might relate to new people in your life as you add, how to be more playful. I very much hope that I bring a playfulness to self development. So I have some things to show you. And the way that I want to start, the way that I start most things is to have a little centering moment. If I can get you to sneak in some extra moments of meditation in your day and in your life, then I feel like that's a huge win. So I invite you to take a moment with me. If you're not driving while you're listening to this and you can sit, I like a hand on my heart and a hand on my belly, and to just close your eyes and take a deep breath right where you are. So much of our stress and anxiety comes from our minds running around in the past where it's all done, it's over, it's finished. Or we run around into the future. What's going to happen? What do I need to tend to next? How do I get ahead of things? How do I plan? And we really struggle as a Western society to just be right here. So let's take a breath in the right here, in the now. Take a moment to connect with your breath. How cool it is that every moment of your life, your body, your being is automatically breathing. Isn't that neat? We can be in wonder about our minds, the vastness of which we can think. And we can be in wonder about our bodies, that your heart beats every single moment since that very first heart spark when we were made in the womb. That's the same heart spark that you have going on right now in this very moment. I invite you to keep breathing and centering as a willful resistance to the hustle and bustle of our culture and our days, to take, and I mean take, moments of serenity, moments of peace, moments of slowing down on the inside, even when our outside lives are super fast paced. This is the power we have. This is the control. I'm going to read to you as you continue to breathe and gift some stillness, some peace to this amazing body that's been with you every single moment through every joy, every heartbreak, every confusion, every win and home run. I'm reading from my favorite book, The Language of Letting Go Journal by Melody Beatty. And I'm not reading today's, I'm reading April 29th. Today happens to be May 3rd, 2024. Initiating relationships. Often we can learn much about ourselves from the people to whom we are attracted. As we progress through recovery, we learn we can no longer form relationships solely on the basis of attraction. We learn to be patient and to process information about that person. What we are striving for is a healthy attraction to people. We allow ourselves to be attracted to who people are, not to their potential or what we hope they are. The more we work through our family of origin issues, the less we will find ourselves needing to work through them with the people we're attracted to. Finishing our business from the past helps us form new and healthier relationships. The more we overcome our need to be excessive caretakers, the less we will find ourselves attracted to people who need to be constantly taken care of. The more we learn to love and respect ourselves, the more we will become attracted to people who will love and respect us and whom we can safely love and respect. This is a slow process. The type of people we find ourselves attracted to does not change overnight. The fact is, we will initiate and maintain relationships with people we need to be with until we learn what we need to learn, no matter how long we've been recovering. We can learn to take care of ourselves during the process of initiating and forming relationships. We can learn to go slowly. We can learn to pay attention. We can allow ourselves to make mistakes. We can learn to enjoy the healthy relationships and remove ourselves more quickly from the dysfunctional ones. She references God. I'm not attached to any religion. So, God, whatever word makes sense to you, the universe, energy, help me pay attention to my behaviors during the process of initiating relationships. Help me take responsibility for myself and learn what I need to learn. I will trust that the people I want and need will come into my life. I will be open to the lessons I need to learn about me in relationships so I am prepared for the best possible relationships with people. Aren't we all working on relationships? Like relationships with ourselves, relationships with others, even through this weird, wacky thing, this internet that we have now. It's a relationship. Anybody you open up to, you're opening up to being influenced by their ideas, by their energy, by their maturity level, by their heart, by their logic. And when you let somebody in with you, they're opening up to who you are, to the influence of you. So much in the human condition is based on how we relate to one another. And this relationship with ourselves is so important. So when you listen to me or anybody else, I want to encourage you to listen not just with your ears, not just with your logic, but with your heart and with your gut, because those are massive tools that academia, I have a master's degree. I am considered, I think, in most circles, an academic, though I would not go for my PhD if somebody paid for it for me. I don't want any more academia. I want the wisdom of this body to be used from my wisdom of academia. But academia has sort of education, science, as powerful, as necessary, as important and valid as they are, they've sort of dismissed the power of our hearts, our gut intuitions, our instincts. I've got a big old standard poodle dog. If I'm on a walk with him, I live in the Rocky Mountains. If I'm on a walk with him and he gets tense, I don't want to dismiss his intuition. Might be a bear. It might be a mountain lion. It might be a moose. I had moose on my property yesterday morning. I don't dismiss his intuition. I go, wait a minute, what is he noticing? Because I very much trust my dog to be an intuitive being. Now, he might just be being a goofball, right? It might be a neighbor's kid. It might just be a little bunny in the grass, but I'm not going to dismiss it and I'm going to pay attention. It's very interesting that we all grow ignoring our intuitions. So, as I show you a few things today, just notice what comes up for you, whether it's slight, subtle, or profound. And just know that you get to honor the intelligence, not just of up here, but of your heart and your gut too. And if you're recovering from abuse, I'm a childhood sexual abuse survivor. Abuse makes our relationship with our own bodies and our own selves really wonky and confusing. Healing is about coming back to what I think of as our birthright, that we were always meant to feel safe and whole, a sense of peace, not constant survival in this very body, in this very being. And I hope everything that I share with you in every moment that you share your one precious life with me, with my messaging, with my teaching, that I add something to your life, that I help you learn how to make something easier or feel lighter or easier forgiveness or easier letting go or easier getting your anger out so that you can get to the good living, to the joy, to the more playfulness, like Ghost King said. All right, so I'm going to show you one of my favorite things that I have received because there's so much giving and receiving when we're moving through the world. I have been given and gifted over the years so much by my clients, and I'm going to show you some of the artwork. I pulled two pieces. This is one of my favorites to start with show and tell. This is a hummingbird that someone painted for me to say thank you for how I've helped her learn to love herself and own herself. And you'll hear me get choked up. I'm definitely a highly sensitive person because for the whole rest of my life, I get to have this. I get to have this connection to her through her. It warms my heart when I see it. She didn't know that I necessarily had an affinity for hummingbirds. I live where there are tons of hummingbirds. I love them and I grew up with them as a little girl. So I'm going to do something I haven't really done before. I'm going to show you one of my tattoos, my oldest, my first. It definitely needs touch-ups. I got it at 24 and I'm 24, almost 25 and I'm turning 44 soon. So I have it on my hip and I grew up as a little girl with living with my grandpa and he would put out hummingbird feeders. He would build bird houses. So for me, this is a connection to him, and it's why it was my first tattoo on my hip. Can you see that? Whoop, where am I? The red has kind of washed out over the years, and I kind of like that. That's why I haven't touched it up yet. I sort of like the idea that that tattoo is a stamp on my body. That was a moment in time when I was reclaiming myself after my first divorce. And it matters to that natural connection where I grew up with my grandfather, who was such a big influence on my life, on my heart, on my spirit. He's where I get a lot of my goofiness. He was a natural sort of physical comedian. He was silly. He was funny. You've never seen anybody be able to make faces. He could do the thing with his lips that would go sideways and all of that silliness, that playfulness, like Ghost King mentioned, that was such a vitamin for my life. Such a vitamin. And sometimes the seriousness of life, the heaviness, even in healing and in therapeutic circles, it's very easy to dismiss having fun or lightness or silliness or playfulness as some kind of frivolous child bullshit when it's not. It's not. When we study the elderly and who is satisfied, who is maintaining their mental faculties, who still has fun in life, who isn't depressed, they play. Massive playfulness. So you get to bring that into who you are. Kadama says grandparents have such an influence. They really, really do. They really do. It's a chance for us as young people to learn from their age. And some of them mellow and can show up for their grandchildren differently than they did for their kids. There's so much to be generationally passed down. I was just telling a girlfriend of mine who's got little bitty kids how my grandpa used to have us catch the cicadas in southern Louisiana, the live ones, not just the shells. We'd catch them live, and then we'd put them on the inside screen of a window, and we'd sit at night with little flashlights as little girls, me and my sisters, and we'd watch the cicada come out of its little shell and spread its wings. And then we'd let it go, and we'd have the little shell in that memory. It gave me a connection to the universe. And when things in my life were hard, when I was being abused or my mother's divorce was just an insane war of the roses, war of the world sort of fight, nature was what could bring that little sparkle, not just to my eye, but to my heart. You know, we're such a medicated society. We think of medicine as what Big Pharma puts out. That's an important medicine. That's an important vitamin. That's an important nutrient. There's so much talk about, I can't get the right mental health stuff that I need. There's so much that you can do to help fortify and strengthen your emotional constitution so that you can better weather your days, your life, and get to that fun. All right, I'm going to show you another piece of artwork. It's one of my favorites. And if you're new to my work, you might not know that I talk about the inner child a lot. And that can sound super woo-woo. There's never been anybody in the history of all therapy, I think, that didn't hear a therapist say, talk to your inner child and feel what I call their inner adolescent roll their eyes. Really, lady? I'm going to talk to my inner child? Okay. But really and truly, why my work has gone in that direction is because it works. It works. We have these inner set points inside of ourselves. When we went through pain as kids or we didn't get our needs met necessarily, and that's the nature of childhood. That's not necessarily a commentary on parents. I think that's the human condition that we're going to grow up and for damn sure not get everything that we need. And then to me, adulthood is going after what we need, what fills in those holes, what helps us grow and expand. And someone, I think, drew the visual of what I'm speaking of. It's called Inner Child Rise. Can you see? And when I was given this, I was told that working with me feels like this image. And boy, did I cry. It's making me cry now. Wouldn't it be lovely if so many more of us in the world took on the work to be able to walk our lives despite all that's hard in life in victory pose? Dun, da, 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 like, this is my one precious life. To give depression the finger, to not let anxiety make our life decisions for us the way it so tries. Anxiety is fearful, it's scared. And so it gives us messages that we should play small. So I get on and I do videos like this, not because I'm not nervous, not because I don't sometimes have fears of pushback or what happens. Sometimes I say very controversial things. The internet can come at me. That's the time we're living through. We get to have more victory pose energy. Like, do you deserve that in your life? Are you willing to fake it till you make it and sometimes get out of bed and just victory pose it up? Willful positivity? I like to celebrate my stubbornness in me and in the people that work with me. You put your stubbornness in the wrong spot, it's a hindrance. You put your stubbornness in the right spots in your life, oh my goodness, what an asset. So if you've ever been talked down to or told your stubbornness is a problem, I want to encourage you, flip that. Own it. I can be quite stubborn like a mule, but I want to be cognizant about not being stubborn to my detriment. I want to be stubborn about I'm going to meditate more often. I want to be stubborn about I'm going to go for that walk because it's good for my body and it's good for my mindset. This is empowerment. This is reparenting yourself. This is self-love. Sure, there's the bubble baths. Sure, there's the taking some downtime. But real self-love, getting straight with yourself about where you're going to put your stubbornness, where you're going to put your energetic effort in your life. What a cool thing that you get to do. You don't have to do it. You get to do these things. So those are art pieces from other people. I'm going to show you some of my art. And I am working on a project that I will announce later this year with some of it. It's not this piece, but this is something I made many years ago. It's a little box that I paper mache'd. And this is a really cool thing. If you're a healer out there, if you're a parent looking for things that will grow your child's emotional intelligence, I made a little box and I used to pull this out when I worked with younger people. And there's all kinds of little colorful things in there. And they're incomplete prompts. So I'm going to pull a couple for us today. I am empowered today. This means ... What does it mean to you? Those of you who are with me live, what does it mean to you? I'm empowered today. This means what? What does that mean to you in your life today to bring some empowerment in? Y'all, there's always so much that we can't control. That's outside of our scope of what we can make happen or not. But we can acknowledge that and then shift. What am I empowered to do? And sometimes it's as simple as I can get out of bed, I can fix my hair, I can brush my teeth, I can put some clothes on this body, and I can get moving. There's always some kind of way to empower yourself. Sometimes it might just be taking a breath to help your body let go of tension. And it's a mindset. All right, I'll do at least one more. I mean, one or two. Let's see. Let's see. I'll pick a different guy. Let's see. All right, we got a biggie. Let's see. You may not know this, but all of your feelings are okay. What does this mean for you? Highly sensitive people are my thing. And most of us have grown up. Every time we've gotten tearful, what's the first thing people say? Very first thing, I start to tear up. No, 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 don't cry, don't cry. Stop, 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 don't cry. We have so been smushed down in our emotional centers. We have been so misguided. There are no bad feelings. There are ones that really suck to feel and to have to move through, but that doesn't make them bad. Like if I step on your foot accidentally, just being clumsy, I trip, I totally smash your foot. I don't like the feeling of guilt. I try really hard to live a life where I don't do things that bring guilt. That's the point of guilt. When I stomp your foot accidentally, that feeling of guilt of, oh no, are you hurt? It's part empathy. That guilt is there. That guilt is there with the intention of keeping me connected to you. If I don't feel that, whatever, I stepped on your foot. Deal with it. Move on. That damages our connection. You would be right to have more distance from me, maybe physically. You don't need any other toes stomped, but emotionally. Why would you trust me if I hurt you and then act cold? That guilt in the human condition isn't there just to make me feel shitty. That guilt is there to encourage me to right something wrong I did that impacted someone else. So that very uncomfortable, sometimes very icky guilt is there to prompt me to better that relationship, to repair. All right. I'm going to show you some of my art. Okay. Now, I started doing these about 12 years ago now. And I started doing them because I was living in Houston and I started getting to the point. Houston has insane traffic. I mean, what big city doesn't now, right? But Houston has insane traffic, the biggest highways I've ever seen. And I hit traffic. And I was starting to learn that if I didn't hurry up and get off of the road, I might be in traffic for hours if there was a wreck. So I started seeing it piling up and I was like, I'm not getting stuck in this today. Not today. It's like, not today. It's Satan with the traffic. And so I pulled over, walked in the store, and just something in my intuition beelined me. There was this giant, really cool store with wilderness things and books and gear and shoes. I mean, I could have gotten lost for hours, but I walked right in and it was like some kind of force just took me like by the forehead, didn't even let me get distracted, and walked me right to this little book. And it was this book about pattern drawing. And it was like a little kit. And I just bought it. And I left and I started doing these little pattern drawings. And when I started, they were just black and white. And they were for me. They were for me to sit, to breathe, and to draw one little line at a time. And when we're stressed, for me, it works a little different. And everybody's got to find their kind of thing. But for me, it was life is hard. There's a lot in my mind. There was a lot of chaos in my life at that time. But I could sit down with just a little paper and a pencil and a pen. And I could just one line at a time. And I would do that for hours till my hand would cramp up and I couldn't do it anymore. And it was as if with each line, my body could just calm and center and be present. I started with meditation. It's part of why people are so freaking resistant to actually having a meditation practice. Because we sit down and the last thing this busy, overthinking mind knows how to do is focus and get still. So it's uncomfortable and we think we're doing it wrong and we leave, but we're doing it exactly right. And we don't have to just sit down and try to not think and clear out our brains. We can do these sort of bridging activities that help us get there. Early in my art practice, it helped me sit and be still and be in the energy of this mind being quiet. So they have evolved quite a lot over the years. I have more art pens than you could possibly imagine, all kinds of different pens. And so I pulled three of my pieces to show you. There's one. And the project I'm working on is about visual meditation, to be able to look at something and breathe and let go of all other thoughts and just be with a piece of art. Okay, I'll show you another. I like color. Let's see if I cover my face, you can see it. It focuses. I like color. I like contrast. For me, these represent the depth of the human psyche, our complexity, the layers we have, the way we connect, the way the more that we look and understand ourselves, the more that's there, not less. Oh, I guess I pulled four. Here's the third one I pulled to show you. Thank you very much. They've brought me so much joy. And it's not just in doing them. When I've handed them to people in my personal world and watched them dive deeply into experiencing them, it's brought me such joy. We're living through such a great loneliness and disconnection epidemic. I'm actually seeing people sometimes that say, I don't really know how to connect anymore. How do you connect? Well, it's what I'm showing you now. And it's vulnerable to show our real selves, our true selves. It's vulnerable to show my art. It's my little me time, my privacy. How do you feel when I share myself with you? What does that do for you? What does it show you? Does it give you any permissions for you? I'll share one more little story and then I'll go. I'm married to my third, and I like to joke, my absolute final husband. His name is Chris. He is the producer of Emotional Badass. We are very much a husband and wife team. And that is such a tremendous shock to my younger parts, my inner child. I didn't know how to have healthy relationships when I was young, coming out of my family. But by the time I was divorced the second time and dating Chris, I was dating with great intention. I was ready to apply all I had learned. I had had a long time of being a therapist. I had had my business online for a long time already. I knew how to vet people online. I was ready to online date. I had so much fun online dating. Oh, I'm so glad that me sharing myself makes it feel okay to try. See, that's the very thing that I've tried to figure out. How do I package up that and hand it to people? What is the permission that makes it okay for us to try? Well, it's seeing somebody else try, isn't it? That's why I'm doing this. To be someone that you can see trying, to help you find the permission for you to try in the things that might be so different than what I'm doing. And to know that you can do it and know it's okay if you stick your foot in your mouth or you weird out or you say it wrong or people think you're strange. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, critical thinker is mentioning my plants. It's another thing I've grown into. In my deepest depressions as a younger woman, I could not keep air alive, y'all. I would try so hard with plants and it would hurt my own feelings so much when they would die. I would feel so guilty, but it's such a parallel for life. The truth is, back then, I really could barely take care of myself. So, of course, I could barely take care of plants. The more that we heal and learn what it is really, truly, and deeply to take care of ourselves, this is what happens. I am a bona fide crazy plant lady, and I love that. It's been a journey too. Because when I started with plants, I was in Southern Louisiana or Texas for a little bit too. The air is freaking wet. It's 100% humidity 100% of the time. I'm in Colorado at almost 9,000 feet. I could not be in a drier atmosphere. And it absolutely changed how plants grew, Even when I came from Denver, the mile high city, to almost 2 miles up in the air, the plants changed. Some of them died and didn't make it, but the more that you take care of yourself, the more that you can take care of all the other things. That's why taking care of ourselves is not selfish, even when people look you in the face and tell you it is. The healthier I've gotten in my life, the more I have to give. The more I want to give, honestly, earnestly, not just because I think I should or I better or that's what being a good person is, from a real sense of wanting to give. Critical thinker, you're doing herbalism. I have so many tinctures and it is so fun to start to get into making your own. Good for you. Critical thinker says, I have a question. Say we were misdiagnosed and kind of went from empaths figuring out we're highly sensitive at the age of 50. Is it possible that the nervous system is a little fried out? Absolutely. So I absolutely have the education and the credentials to diagnose. All my career, I have resisted diagnosis, particularly because I've had so many wrong diagnoses over my life. And honestly, no exaggeration, most of the people that I've worked with in my career, I would say were misdiagnosed. And if they worked with me earnestly, by the time we were done working together, they didn't think they had any of those diagnoses. I think we are very much living through an overdiagnosis time in a way that doesn't really serve us. The truth is, diagnosis really got pushed for insurance, not for health purposes, for insurance purposes. So I don't think of myself as a medical or clinical practitioner anymore. I'm a wellness professional, which means I don't need you to identify any kind of illness or sickness. We're just going to work on betterment, embracing who we are, tweaking what we can tweak, radically accepting what we can't. BPD BPD is a hot diagnosis now. Autism and BPD are the borderline personality disorder, the hot diagnoses. If I were in charge of writing the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, I would write it very differently. And what I would look for in personality disorders, particularly BPD, is what is your insight level? What is your maturity level? And what is your willingness level to really sit in discomfort to change some of these dynamics? When those things are there, I see that BPD can be dialed down dramatically, if not completely eradicated, any of those symptoms. Because I think a lot of BPD is just trauma. A lot of BPD is just anxious attachment or anxious avoidant attachment. And we can do tremendous work to get more securely attached with ourselves so that we can then securely attach to and with others. And that really calms our system down. What we want to do is a lot of system integration when we have felt very scattered or very raw or very misunderstood or very all over the place, or we've gotten all these different diagnoses. Most of the time, it's a complex post traumatic stress type issue going on. We don't even have to identify with that as a diagnosis. And so we're working to calm and center this body. Um, I've been working on a new thing to help people figure out kind of where to go in my work. And one of the things I offer and often highly recommend is my peace course. I teach a peace course for 30 days, and it's exercises of bringing peace to the body. We just had another group start on the first. It starts on the first of each month. You could get it today and start at the first of the next month. Because these are the things when we show up to a therapist and we go, oh, yeah, this is the bad thing that happened. This is the bad interaction I had. This is how I got out of control. We're just focusing on the problem, the problem, the problem, the problem. Where does that leave us? In the problem. The solution, if you will, is often in the foundation, like the foundation of a house. We got to get the foundation of us to a calmer state. And that is in part about getting external things in check and easier and less chaotic, but that can take lots of time. Like when I was in college, was just chaos for me because of the effort it took to work. I was a working student. There was nothing that was going to make that less externally chaotic for me. But if I had it to do over again from this consciousness, I'd go back and I'd tell younger Nikki, "Oh, honey, take some deep breaths. You're holding such a tension on the inside of you. It's like you're a balloon about to explode, or you're like a firecracker that is lit about to explode. You might not be able to change the externals, but let's change this internal. Take a deep breath. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay." So, this is part of why I speak so much to high sensitivity, because I think it's a gift. But it feels, my phrase for it is, it can feel like a burden. There's a beauty and a burden to it. When we get coping strategies and more understanding of who we are, what our trauma is, what we need to do to heal, to really grow beyond the stuff that doesn't serve us, then we get more of the beauty of the sensitivity. Let's see. Critical thinker said, hated it. I am right. One of my promises is that I will never really push that I am right about things. What I'm pushing is I am sharing my perspective, and I would like you to check it out with yours. And if it feels right to you, if it seems right to you, if it resonates with you, then it might be a wisdom that works for you. I don't really believe in any one hard right. There might be some hard wrongs. Like if you walk up to me and smack me, that's a hard wrong. But I think there's so much nuance in what is right. And I believe more in the art form of healing in the ways that I think science really can't test. And we're living through such a scientific yearning for everything to be scientifically proven. I think that's part of why mental health care is so kind of wackadoodle these days. I do a lot of what I call reparative work after people have seen professionals that have steered them in directions that weren't really fruitful or useful for them. Let's see. Critical thinker says, yeah, no problem doing that, and no problem apologizing for being aware of the things that I was doing that weren't right. That's insight, and insight we can't teach. So if you have insight and some personality disorder traits that pop up, I very much believe that you can work on that, and that it's your job to. Because the truth is, and when people have these traits, I think professionals shy away from saying this, you got to do this work. Because if not, good, solid people that would be your cheerleaders, your supports, your people in your corner, you'll exhaust them. And that's not a mean thing for me to say. It's a truth that needs to be dealt with. Because if you have BPD stuff, I know you exhaust yourself too. And that's part of it, is learning how to live in a way that's less exhausting for you and everybody else. But that's rarely, when we go to see a therapist, what the treatment plan is, right? It's not like learn to be less exhausting for self and for others. I do a lot about, we need to learn how to think and stop falsely valuing overthinking that just wears us out, runs us ragged. Critical thinker says, I have been alone for 7 years on purpose. I honestly would have done everything I possibly could have, but sometimes finances are a problem. They really are. It's one of my commitments to the audience that listens to me. Part of me getting out of one-on-one work and having a broader audience is that I can keep my prices down. I'm not a coach that charges thousands of dollars to work with me, and I kind of believe I'm one of the only ones. People can join my Patreon. You can interact with me and ask questions in the monthly Patreon live stream. We tend to have a topic each month that's announced on there for $10 a month. I think the internet has so much potential to connect people to healing, and it doesn't have to be such an in the box thing. We all need some people at different seasons and stages to sort of hold our hands, to guide us, to shine the light when we've dropped our own flashlight and can't find it. But we can really pull together some things. It doesn't have to be just I need to be able to afford weekly therapy. There can be a real coming together. Critical thinker, I'm going to throw something out there for you that might sound like way out of left field. But find an improv group. Yeah, improv. Because it's a little family system. And I'll say it like this, ain't nothing on this earth like an improv group. Why? That is a group of people that are deciding together that it is valuable to stop their lives and to come together for what, hour and a half, 2, 3 hours a week, a month, whatever, to laugh, to play, to be light. I used to teach to other therapists that improv heals childhood trauma. The first and only improv group that I was a part of, I was determined to get on stage even though I was sweaty, I was nervous, but I knew it would be a good exercise for me. And right before the first performance, the group kinda got around me. They knew I was nervous. They knew I was scared of just freezing like deer in the headlights. And they looked at me and someone said these words and, ooh, crying right before I went on stage. It might make me cry now. And she said to me, and the man next to her reiterated, "Don't worry. If you get lost and stuck, we're here. We're your team. We'll step in and we'll save you." And it hit me like a ton of bricks that, oh my goodness, every adult child from a deeply dysfunctional family, that's what they walk the world yearning for and searching for because we didn't get it young. Family, healthy family are the people that see you. And when you're tripping and falling, they reach out a hand to lift you up. In dysfunctional families, you either don't get a hand held out or you get kicked down the stairs as you're falling. So the psychological reparative nature of going to a group like that is very healing. Even if some people are weird there, in an improv group, you're going to have people that cross inappropriate joke lines. You just radically accept that. And you get to practice letting other people be them, even if it doesn't resonate with you. You get to practice not being offended. This whole culture of being offended is not good for trauma survivors. You don't need more things for your system to get triggered by and upset by. There's so much more power in just allowing other people to be who they are. You can hope and send out your own version of a prayer that they learn some things. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Critical Thinker says, thank you for answering. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here. Thank you for you being here helps me live out my life purpose. That I get to take my hard-earned wisdom and my pain, my personal and professional journey, and pay it forward. Send you some little nuggets of wisdom because I know in my life, sometimes it's that little bitty nugget that just changes something in a way that just makes it all of a sudden weigh 1 pound when it has been weighing 1,000 pounds. Kadama says, I really hope I'm saying that right. You put things in a gentle, protective, and loving perspective for the inner child. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you. It's always hard for me to really say exactly what I do. And it's the people that let me in that often tell me more of what I do and put it into words for me. That is right on the money of what I do. And when we give ourselves that, we actually grow that inner child up. This is not about enabling an inner child to be childish like all of our lives. This is about giving us what we missed out so that that inner child grows up and doesn't have tantrums, doesn't have freakouts the way that he or she used to because that was the best she knew how to do or the best he knew how to do. Critical Thinker says it would be nice to be able to interact with some people that are highly sensitive in person online too. I tend to think of my Patreon as the healthiest little corner of the internet. We've been doing it since 2018, sorry. You know how many issues I've had to manage in there? Twice. And all that's happened is somebody got upset that I gave my perspective and they didn't like it, and so they tried to shame me. I understand that dynamic. And I understand that they didn't understand that they were trying to shame me. They thought they were just speaking their truth. All I did was say, hey, we don't shame in here. You're allowed your opinion, but I'm allowed mine. You can toss it. You don't have to take mine, but you are not going to control mine. And that's it. One or two little corrections like that in years and years and years. I really think of it as like just this little kind of nurturing little corner of the internet. And I don't like post on it like constantly, constantly, constantly. I don't want to just junk it up with stuff just to give y'all stuff. Every little thing that we put in there is some little nugget. One of my value system things is that we're all really busy. There's a billion trillion things that we could possibly be learning, growing into, spending our time and energy on. If you're going to spend time and energy with me, I want you to be able to feel something that helps you feel lighter. I want you to be able to take something that adds some value to your life, to your day, to your mindset, to the way you interact with people. All right, let's see. I'm so glad you have a great therapist, and she actually was introduced to HSP by me and has adopted and willing to do anything she can. That's the spirit of a good trauma therapist to me. I have said for many years to my clients, I'm the expert in the human condition. You're the expert in you. That's what's on my website. We're going to come together and we're going to collaborate. I don't bring an air of arrogance, and I have felt a lot of damage in my own work and in people I've worked with from therapists that had a real arrogance ego problem. Like they're the authority figure. There are times and moments where I have to kind of play that card and go, hey, I can only work my way. I can't work it your way. Maybe we're not meant to work together. But a good trauma therapist works with you. It is a co-collaboration. Totally improv comedy. Yes. Oh my goodness. Please go do some improv comedy. Please come back to one of these and tell me what it does for you. And if you feel a resistance, I'll throw this permission for you and anybody else that can use it in any other way. Curse me out. Like as you're pulling up, park in your car, feel free. It won't hurt me. I'm good with it. Curse me, be like, damn it, Nikki, why? This is so uncomfortable. I sweat 5 times. I had to go to improv 5 times, and it was Colorado in the winter, y'all. It was not hot. People were looking at me like, what is she stroking out? What is going on with her? Why is she so sweaty? I knew in my head, this is just my nervous system like, oh my goodness, new thing. The people pleaser in you, the perfectionist just gets activated with a new thing. Because I know that, I could just go, oh no, I'm not letting those parts of me make these decisions. This is going to be good for me. I sweat like a pig 5 full times. And the 6th time I went to an improv meetup, I was having a hard time not giggling at myself the whole time. I was like, I'm not sweaty. I'm not sweaty. Oh my goodness, I'm not sweaty. My body finally learned that this is okay. And from that moment on, I could go do something today. I haven't done it in a couple years, and I wouldn't be sweaty because I taught my body, this is all right. This is good, until my body got the message. Then it went, oh, okay, we don't have to panic anymore. That's how we change, not by avoiding the things that kick up those feelings. You are so welcome. I will take that blessing. Thank you. It means a lot to me too. Thank you for allowing me and receiving. All right, let's see. Hi, Brittany. Brittany says, oh my God, Nikki, you've helped me learn to live my best life and understand myself. I got away from my abuser, and it was all because of your show. Brittany, that is wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that with me. All right. Yes. Yes, yes. We do need some softness. I think so many people misunderstand that softness is like a doormat. That's part of why I want to show myself to the people willing to be my audience and listen, because I'm very kind and I'm very warm, but I am also no nonsense. I'm very direct, I'm very to the point, and I don't take any crap from anybody at this stage of my life. And the fact that I know how to do that kindly, my younger self knew how to either take it or absolutely lash out and didn't really have skills in between, in the middle. That's so much of what healing is growing more nuanced skill where you can hold multiple truths, where you can not like something, but not have your body react as if it's going to shoot itself to the moon with anxiety. And these are the changes that are slow, like that reading I started with. All right. Oh, I'm so glad. I really hope you check out improv And I hope it works the way I laid out for you because it really has the potential to. Doreen says, I'm HSP too, and it made so much sense to me. I'm so glad. Moon beanification. I love it. I'm a Cancer. I'm a moon child. Oh, thank you for being in this space that I have created. I mean, what a collaboration that is, right? We can be soft and strong. Absolutely, we can be soft and strong. Is it the Charmin toilet paper commercial that says that? Let's see. Critical Thinker says, I also have a dog that's small and I've taken them everywhere, but I kind of have to take him everywhere. I think we're becoming a more dog friendly society. And if people don't like it, that's all right. Let's see. I'm glad you can take your dog with you. Hi, Melody. Melody says, how old are you if you don't mind telling us? I am 43 and I will be 44 in July. That's another thing that I am willing to show you over these years. I believe in being a natural ager. I've never done Botox. I do some facials. I won't do any plastic surgery. I'm a medication and medical minimalist. I think there's a time and a place for things medically, but I'm a minimalist, and part of that is because of my work. Because I've had so many people share their health journeys, and it has made me more of a minimalist. Okay, let's see. Yes, yes. All right. Aw, thank you for that compliment, Brittany. I do. I hope to make hard emotional concepts very, very simple because with understanding, highly sensitive people take an exhale. You know, it's why we're the over explainers in the world. How many of you who are here right now over explain and get lost in over explaining? It's because we value explanation. We value understanding. When we understand, we're like, oh, okay. And we exhale. And then it's easier for us to move forward. All right. MK thinks says, thank you, Nikki. That example was helpful, like the one about dealing with fear. You're so welcome. You are so welcome, y'all. All right, I have to run. We're going to do this every now and then on YouTube. If there's anybody that you think will like my work, I so appreciate y'all sharing it. We just learned a little bit more about how YouTube works. So we're trying to ask everybody to make sure you're a subscriber. That helps work the algorithm. Oh, yep. Lots of over explainers in here. Yep. Yep. Oh, I'm so, so glad, y'all. Light and love. And I cannot wait to share more time and space with all of you. You are all welcome to jump into any of my work, to come hang out on the Patreon. I have a lot of fun in the monthly live streams. Okay. And the show we release every single week. All right. So much light and love. Thank y'all for being here live. I feel like I'm getting some muscles about doing this and can do more. And every time I do it, my anxiety goes down a little bit more because my inner child is like, all right, I see you handling this and we can do this. And we really can. All right. Light and love. Have a lovely weekend and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, YouTube.